Hey everyone, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel, and I want to wish you guys a happy Valentine's Day. I'm here to do an all sign with you for Valentine's Day, and I'm excited about that. We're going to do an astrology overview to explain the transits that are happening at this time so you can kind of understand the mechanics of what's going on. And then we'll go into each sign and explain how those transits affect your sign, your sun, moon, and rising. And we'll roll the dice for each sign to get a divination reading along with a few tarot cards, okay? So our regular thing, we're adding the dice, and I picked 6 dice just randomly. They were sitting by me. 3 of them are signs, 1 of them is a planet, and 2 are numerological. And so I always repeat myself when doing the all signs, so it's important to mention this now. If these do not have to correspond to your placement or refer to, anything specifically to you. They may be a sign that, Taurus, this is Taurus, Aquarius, moon, is important for you at this time, but it doesn't mean that necessarily, and you don't have to have those transits for the dice to be relevant. It's a divination practice just like tarot, and so we'll use it that way, okay? I always forget to mention that in the beginning, and then throughout the video I'm like, and I repeat myself over and over again, so I really wanted to get this out of the way. Another really important thing to consider for Valentine's Day is that it's not inherently an astrological day. It's not like a special astrological assignment. However, the astrology this Valentine's Day is pretty cool, and there's a lot of neat things to consider that you might want to know about because they're very good for relationships. So I'm excited to tell you about those now. Okay, so we're going to go through the astrology now and then go into all signs in a minute. You guys can find everything down in the description. And yeah, so I hope you're doing great. Okay, so all right, so let's first consideration. So there's several different parts to this Valentine's Day symmetry. It's definitely more emphasizing the air and fire energy. So Sag, Leo, Aries, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini are emphasized this year. This isn't annual. This is just for this year. So there's some really nice alignment between planets that are currently in the fire, air element. Okay, so specifically Sagittarius, Aquarius, Aries, and to some degree Gemini, although less. So if you have placements in those signs, then that's good news for you. So why don't we go over each one and then get right into it. The reason I think it's good is that I think this full moon, I think this Valentine's Day is actually promoting healthy communication between people. There's a couple different aspects that are going to promote resolution of conflict or seeing through problems. So it's going to be Valentine's Day in which we reach higher states of awareness in a positive sense. We get to learn more about what's going on. We get told what's going on, so we know what's happening. And there's going to be very close communication between yourself and others, pushing towards mutual understanding, love, and trust. And so these are very nice aspects in that for that reason. They're benefic and beautiful and hopeful. So I already did a short form on this. Some of you may have caught it, some of you haven't. This is just a deeper explanation of the transits I mentioned there. Okay? So first of all, the moon will be transiting through the mid degrees of Sagittarius. And so this is nice. Moon in Sagittarius is quite romantic. All the Sagittarians out there, I know you're super romantic at heart. And Moon in Sagittarius, Sagittarian romance is all about kind of the bigger picture. It's a very focus on life as a life that is full of mystery and adventure. And when I say the word romantic, applies more to a disposition towards things. Hopeful, optimistic, probably full of adventure, full of wonder and hope. So that's the moon in Sagittarius. Very, very creative, very open-minded, and it's bringing that sense to all of us, and it's influencing us all during Valentine's Day in that way. So it's making all of us a little bit more hopeful, a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more ready to move past situations. And once you see how the moon is interacting with some of these other transits, you'll kind of see why. So the moon is in Sagittarius. The first major aspect I want to bring your attention to is the trine between Chiron and the moon that happens through the midday into the afternoon. All my times are Pacific time. So if you're like east of India, I would say, you're talking about into the 15th. So the time will be right after Valentine's Day. But I don't think most of Asia celebrates Valentine's Day. So just take this as the energy for the 15th of February onward, okay? So around that time, Pacific time, we have a trine between Chiron and the moon. And so this is going to really allow us to understand what's going on for other people and also be understood. Chiron in Aries, we've talked about this a lot, is a self-esteem adjustment and transit. So when Chiron entered Aries, a lot of people started dealing with identity problems. Let me explain. So identity problems in the sense of recognizing how their identity has kept them from living the life that they may lead had there been no injustice or no unfairness impacting them, or bad reputations in some cases, or in some instances, it's not necessarily through a grand scheme of injustice or a grand scheme of prejudice, but just circumstances in their life that had led them to not be who they wanted to be. That's Chiron in Aries. Aries is the I am, and Chiron in Aries is impacting how we feel about ourselves and who we are in the world. So if you're about 50 years old right now, you probably have Chiron in Aries. And so these energies are very strong for you at this time. And so this has been your life's experience. So you guys can attest for us all what that transit represents, because those of you who were born in, let's say, the 70s, maybe late 60s, I don't remember when Chiron entered Aries off the top of my head, you know that a big part of your experience has been this identity problem, not being able to be the self through outside circumstances, or maybe sometimes inside circumstances. So Chiron in Aries as a transit right now, and for those of you who are 50, your Chiron return is really working through those things. And we see that everywhere in the world, people asking themselves, why is it that I am who I am in this world at large, and what kind of mitigating circumstances led me to that? So the moon in aspect to Chiron is allowing us to have sensitivity and seeing that in each other. So therefore, when you're interacting with your loved ones, and remember, when I say relationships, I have a very broad definition of relationships. For some people, it's friendship. For some people, it's family. For some people, it's partnerships and marriages. So you do with that what you will. But whoever is close to you in your heart, this aspect between the moon and Chiron through Valentine's Day is allowing you to understand each other and understand each other's sympathies, sympathize with each other, sensitivity to each other's circumstances, and have that bit of awareness. So you may have the awareness for the other person at this time and understand their side of things a bit more, or they may hear what's going on for you a bit better. So either way, that's a very nice aspect throughout Valentine's Day, okay? And in fact, we have Jupiter and Juno with Chiron at this time. And so overall, this is a very nurturing moment for Aries energy. Overall, Aries energy is very strong right now, and we'll talk about that more in another video. Aries, pay attention, because this is a really sweet spot for you. But Jupiter and Juno, this is an asteroid on either side of Chiron, is nurturing and helping these circumstances. So whatever people are going through in their lives, they're being nurtured and helped and restored and given opportunity by Jupiter at this time. So the moon in aspect to this, it's a big lifting energy for our relationships. Okay, so we talked about this in the Venus in Pisces video. I will link it in the description. I really recommend it. And low-key, not high-key, I'm super excited about this. I think you guys know, all of you guys who watch me on a regular basis, I think you see the nerd, the astrology nerd in me when I'm talking about this. And this is the Venus and Neptune conjunction. This is the kind of stuff that tickles me, you know? So Venus and Neptune are about to join in Pisces. And this is significant because last year there was a massive, unprecedented conjunction between Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune in Pisces. And this was actually technically Venus and Jupiter joined at Venus's exaltation degree, the 1 degree in the 360 degrees of the zodiac at which Venus is exalted. So Venus joined Neptune, and then a couple degrees later joined Jupiter at 27 degrees, but they were still in a conjunction, the 3 planets together. And that's significant. We've talked about this, but they're the 2 rulers of Pisces with the sign, the only sign that's exalted in Pisces at the exact degree at which it's exalted. So this was an unprecedented conjunction in 2022, and a year later, well, 9 months later, we have, this is why I'm excited, we have a conjunction also between Venus and Neptune, which is not uncommon, but it is one of the last ones in Pisces. And because they have such dignity in this sign, it is significant. And so my little joke for those of you guys who haven't been following, 9 months later means I have a pretty strong sense, and this isn't like 100%, this is a bit of a shot in the dark, but it is my impression that there's a high likelihood. I think of astrology as probabilities, so I never think everything's black and white, etc. However, when I see this transit, it really makes me think that a holy person is going to be born this year. And in fact, there may be several holy people or holy events happening in and around that time. So there's a very special moment 9 months later, after the spectacular conjunction between Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune, we have another conjunction between Venus and Neptune. And so I suspect out there in the world, there's some babies born that are very special through this time. And it's my personal belief that maybe one of them is something more than special, a little bit like a holy person of some kind. This connects to the Christian religion. This connects to all the Abrahamic religions. I won't bore you guys to death about that, but it's linked in the description in the Venus and Pisces video if you want me to talk about it more. But that's the gist of it. So this conjunction is happening a few days after Valentine's Day, but it's applying during Valentine's Day. And so Venus and Neptune, for our personal lives, what does it mean? There's a great amount of compassion that these 2 planets evoke. Venus represents love, but Neptune represents the high octave of love, so compassion for humankind or compassion for other people. And so, if not a holy person, this is a very spiritual day for all of us, or a spiritual time for all of us. And so it's a good time for all of us to employ consciousness, conscientiousness towards others, compassionate thinking towards other people, really trying to think on an emotional level what kind of world we want in this world and what kind of circumstances we want for others through love, compassion, and understanding. So the next few days with Venus, Neptune, and in Pisces, it's a really beautiful time on a spiritual level. And so it might be a Messiah, it might be a holy man or a holy woman, a holy person, Or it could be a series of wonderful, beautiful beings that are born into this earth, or, any mix of things can happen. So I love the Venus-Neptune conjunction this year. Because of the 9-month difference from last year's conjunction, I am kind of prone to think that some special babies are being born. So if you know a special baby being born on about 15th of February exactly, we're talking, let me know. I want to know. And I want to know their whole chart, like their time of birth and place of birth, so I can see how that aspects the rising sign and the setup of the chart. Okay? So it's exciting. That's all I'll say. It's exciting. You guys can hear my Venus in Cancer is just through the moon about it. You can see how romantic I get and how dreamy. It's a very dreamy transit, and in your personal relationships, there's a lack of logic and reason, but there's a lack of emotional intelligence that's really through the roof here. So, it may not make a lot of sense what's going on between you and others, but it could really raise the roof in terms of emotional understanding and intelligence. Okay, so moving from a very emotionally driven transit to a very cognitively driven one, we're seeing the conjunction of the Sun and Jupiter in Aquarius within a day, so the 15th again, and so it's applying on the 14th. And so this conjunction is also very helpful. As we know, we've been in very turbulent times. There's a big, and I'm not getting political, but there's been a big organizational push for power, and there's been a lot of asserting dominance bureaucratically, right? Over the last 3 years, 4 years, there's been such a hustle to gain control by certain people and organize things for better or worse, whether it's justified or illogical, by so many people. And arguably, some of those things have not been justified, or some of these things have been like coups or stealing power in some way, either implicitly or explicitly. There's been coercion and manipulation. And so this could be happening in the world at large, or it could be happening in your personal life where there's been unprecedented forces of there's a prize in the midst of everything that's changing. There's technology driving change, and there's a prize in the center. And so scheming people that don't have altruistic mindset and don't have, are motivated by greed, they are scrambling for that prize. And so, we often hear statistics that psychopaths rule the world. And maybe this is an aspect of it, that people who covet power, people who covet control, are seeing a prize and trying to outmaneuver other people to gain that. And that could be happening in the world, or that can be happening in your personal life. And it's been very scary for the majority of us who are not that way, because they are cutthroat. They're willing to do anything to get the upper hand. And so all of our lives are impacted by people pushing towards these greedy, power-driven, power-hungry desires. And they're vultures, they're wolves, they're vultures, they're parasitic, and it's been really tough. And so the Sun joining Saturn is a beautiful transit, because all the manipulative things that have gone on bureaucratically or systematically in the world at large, but also impacting your life, will be clarified. And this happens every year. However, this is the last time that Saturn and Sun will join in this position for 27 years. I think the next time is 2050. So it's a long time from now. And that's significant because Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. Saturn rules both Capricorn and Aquarius. So the Sun will not meet Saturn again. I guess it must be 2047 in Capricorn, but in Aquarius, it won't meet Saturn again until 2050, so 27 years from now. And so because of Saturn's rulership in these two signs, this is going to be a huge moment in which we regain power over corruption and over some kind of systemic injustice. And this can be also in your personal life, regaining autonomy, regaining sovereignty, regaining personal power in situations. So be really attentive to this one. I know it's much less dramatic than Venus and Neptune or, Chiron and the moon. It's much less emotive. However, it is fun. It's the foundation. It's the blueprint. And it's from which you will gain a lot of strength if you pay attention to what's going on. So how will that play out? Something in your life may come up, especially when you're up against the wall versus a situation or some unfair system. More and more of you out there have been in circumstances in which justice has not been prevailing because of this mechanism of greed and corruption. And so more and more of you on small everyday life things have been missing opportunities, for example, or missing opportunities, or having to pull out of certain circumstances because the hostility has just been crazy. And so the Sun with Saturn kind of sets that right. And again, with all transits, you have to be patient, especially these big ones like this, because sometimes they happen right away, right in your face. The truth comes out, Sometimes it's much more subversive and becomes apparent at some point later. Okay, so Saturn Sun conjunction, very special and bringing a lot of truth. And so in your relationships, you're getting a dose of truth as well. So the last transit that I want to highlight, see, there's a lot going on. That's why I'm here doing this reading with you guys today. The last transit I want to really highlight, and I might do another video focused on this, so this is just going to be a little nod to the head. But Mercury is actually at 5 degrees of Aquarius. It's applying something called a bend of the nodes. And so this is, we've seen the midpoint for Saturn, then the Sun, now Mercury. This is fairly common, but it's not common in Aquarius. This is the last time it's going to happen in Aquarius for 9 years, 10 years. So, and the other energy will be slightly different. So here we have the maximum point of stability between eclipses. Okay, so when we reach this position, this is the midpoint between the two positions of the lunar nodes, the positions at which the moon crosses the axis, the axis. And so this is the position of maximum stability for communication and bringing outwards and bringing out communication with others. And if we reflect back on the moon and Chiron aspect and that compassion we are feeling and understanding towards others, Mercury is definitely in a supportive energy towards that. It's helping to communicate things that have been long suppressed, the things that have been hard to express out, the things that are hard to acknowledge. Through Valentine's Day, through all this stir of the different transits, there could be things being said. And again, remember, they may not be apparent in themselves as markers of change, but over time you will see how they were significant. Things may be being said that will evolve and grow into progress in your relationships. So that's exciting. The other reason why this is so special is that this is the perigee of the moon's position. So Mercury here is in the same degree at which the moon is closest to the earth. And this is considered a very positive place. And so the moon is not far behind. It's about 2 degrees behind. It's not quite a sextile, but it's by degree it's a sextile. And so within a few days, the moon will reach this position. We'll talk about that separately. This is right before the Pisces new moon. But still, Mercury is at this position at which the moon is closest to the earth. And that's where we are all most tuned in on an emotional level. And this is all happening in Aquarius. So if I've been talking about Aquarius a lot, this is part of the reason why. So we are saying things that are candid and true. The truth is coming out. Emotions are being a little bit irrational, but maybe in a healthy way. Emotional intelligence is superseding the rational mind. And then there's also that compassion between people. So overall, I think the astrology of this Venus, this Valentine's Day is really beautiful. And maybe you guys see it as well. So I hope you guys like this little presentation. I'm going to go through all the signs now with you guys. And I'm looking at the clock. I went overtime, so maybe we'll save this for later. Let me know if you're interested in doing divination dice in the future. For now, I want to tell you guys the astrology and contextualize it, but because of time limits, let's just stick to tarot and astrology. And what else? Oh, yes. So if you guys like my content, this is just a gentle reminder, like and comment so that you see it. Because if you won't like and comment, after time, the algorithm will think you're not interested in it. And so therefore, you will not get recommendations from my channel. So by all means, say hi. I'll probably say hi back. And yeah, so just to see my content, please like and comment. And we can begin now. And members, I'm thinking of doing something for Valentine's Day. I don't want to get ahead of myself yet and make any promises, but there's more content coming for you guys. As you guys can see, I'm catching up right now a lot, and a lot of new stuff is coming out. So just be patient. More is coming. Okay. All right. So first of all, we have Aquarius. Okay. Speaking of the devil, we were just saying how it's like a special energy for Aquarius right now. So this is a good place to start. Let's do Aquarius first. Okay, so Aquarius, there we are. So this is the chart for you. So for you, Mercury entering into your first house, I think that I don't see you communicating in a forceful way with anyone, but I do see you quietly saying your truth to people. And it's up for them to listen and hear what you are telling them. Then we have the Eight of Rods. You're saying something quite in a private way. And again, I'm getting the sense that you're not necessarily being intense about it. So you're quietly saying things. You've come to a conclusion about things and you've determined what you want to say. You have a specific idea in mind about which way you want things to go in your circumstances, in your relationship. And your goal is harmony in the home. So it's up for them to listen to what you have to say. But what I see from you right now is initiating some kind of important communication. And we'll see where it goes from there. But this initiation is actually very important and will ultimately lead to consequences or outcomes. Remember, the perigee of the moon is through Aquarius this year. So in some way, you're more in tune with the self, with your emotions. And whenever the moon enters Aquarius, this is a sweet spot right now, you will have very powerful self-awareness of what you want and where you want things to go, where you want relationships to go. So what I see here is initiatory energy, beginning of new things. I would say with Neptune and Venus joining in your second house, you might really feel the desire to want to purchase something and acquire something. So there's an idea here of, kind of being not tempered, to not get lost in that sort of purchasing energy or acquiring energy. But overall, I feel as though there are moments of approval that you're getting from friends and people around you. And I think that you're regaining your strength to address certain situations or speak to certain situations again. So through the Valentine's Day itself, you may not have that huge conversation, but implicitly you are. Implicitly, you're saying the beginning stages of what you're going to be roaring later with, the big message that's going to come out. And you've already made up your mind in some way about what you're going to say and to whom. You're just testing the waters with these new ideas, and they're going to go wonderful places. So you're going to achieve your goal of home and family stability. It's just right now you're initiating the ideas. It's the initiation of the communication that's going on for you. Okay, so that's really powerful. The next message is for Leo. Okay, so we have the perigee. Now we're at the apogee of the moon. Leo, beautiful Leo. Okay, so let's see what's going on for your sun, moon, or rising. So for you, conversely, this energy is really concerning itself with the relationship from the other. In fact, I would say that Leos are receiving encouragement and kind words from the outside. So people around you are showing their love to you in some way. There's your card, Leo. People from the outside are showing their love to you. Let's see. Sorry. I put these down, but they're going to roll around. They're just beads from a bracelet that broke. Okay, then we have the Five of Swords. Let's see what's going on. And then we have the Tower in the foundation. That's really powerful. And we have the Two of Pentacles. So something had not been working quite well or efficiently in your relationships with others. And I think that this is going to be a step towards addressing miscommunication or misunderstanding. I think that there's a feeling here that you may feel as though someone around you doesn't care about you very much, or maybe it's been a long time since they've shown you love or compassion. This is probably greatly influenced by Lilith in your first house. So whether you're sun, moon, rising, Leo, this is significant transit. So you may be working from the perception that someone doesn't care. And you might actually be surprised to find out that someone cares for you, but maybe in a different way than you expect or that you know. And so their way of caring is different than what you expect. And I think that through this this full moon, through this Valentine's Day, there's a real likelihood of sincere communication and mutual understanding, whether it's them understanding where you're coming from or whether it's you understanding where they're coming from. These are important communications that you're having with each other. So don't shy away from the people you love. Don't shy away from the frustrating relationship that doesn't seem to be adding up. There's more to it there. There is care and concern. And the reason that it's been off balance is that the way in which they care may not be the way that you expect. You know how people sometimes show care in different ways. So, good luck, Leo. Okay, so next sign, we have Taurus. Hi, Taurus. Let's take a look at your sign for the upcoming Valentine's Day. So the fixed signs, look, it's all fixed signs right at the beginning. There's such a focus on fixed signs right now. Oops, that's Gemini, sorry. Okay, so let's do Taurus. Okay, hey Taurus, let's take a look at what's going on in your chart. For right away, it feels as though you're probably under the influence of larger forces more than most other people. This means that you have a very strict boss, a corrupt company that you work for. There's powers that you're working around that are inefficient, that are not helpful or not healthy. and they're not good. And this is where your struggle is. And part of your solution is to find an alternative route to the environment that's around you. You have very kind friends. There's people who know what's going on for you, and they feel a great deal of sympathy and compassion towards your circumstances. I feel like your situation is pulling you away from personal relationships, and that's where the struggle is. This is Moon in Libra, by the way, the Two of Swords. And then we have the Seven of Wands sticking to your... So the message for Taurus to me really feels that you're coming to terms with the fact that your outside world has been extremely demanding and has pulled you away from personal relationships. And there's another one here on the horizon, whether it comes right now or soon. It feels like someone has a very compassionate disposition or feelings towards you. But it's, again, very under the influence of these outside life forces that are cramping down on you and making things hard. Remember what I said about Mercury. This is very important for you. The things that are emerging right now, the things that people are saying to each other, may not seem like anything in and of themselves. However, when you pull back a bit and see the bigger picture, I think you'll see how this is a massive initiation of energy. Also, Saturn leaving your 10th house, it feels like you signed up for something and it's been tough. And it's something possibly in your career or something in the outside world. And there are circumstances that have held you in place. And Saturn moving into Pisces is going to be very helpful. We still have 15 degrees of Uranus and Taurus left. And I suspect that this transit of the North Node with Taurus really brought your awareness of the potential of where you can go in life. And so as Saturn leaves Aquarius, it's going to really free up your Uranus to be able to just go in the directions that you've been woken up to. And with that, your relationships will improve as well. And so I wish you luck with this relationship, but I think what I'm trying to say is that there's continual pressure on you that's distracting. It's like you're too laden with pressure from the outside world. We do have Two of Swords here, which is Moon in Libra, peace of mind. And so bringing peace of mind or a lack of need to decide is really helpful here. And I think that this is gumption, the Seven of Swords. Gumption means like sticking to what you've decided. So I don't think you don't know what to do. I think you just don't see a way out yet. And I think that way is coming. And with that, relationships will improve. However, these relationships are already showing a sign of improvement in these subtle connections you're having with people. So you have someone saying something very kind to you, bringing you hope, somebody cares. When you're going through life and no one notices each other, right? Usually in life, people don't notice each other. They're just moving along. And sometimes someone pays attention. This is someone paying attention, and maybe it's been a while since someone's paid attention to you. And so someone's paying attention. So in and of itself, this may not be the resolution or the relationship you're looking for, but it's the first sort of data point or the first instant of someone kind of, shifting their focus in your way. Okay? Okay, so thanks, Taurus. Now let's take a look at your next sign. We have Sagittarius next. So your first mutable sign, Sag. Let's see what's going on for you. I'm feeling this. I like this. I'm glad I came here to look at this with you guys. And so Sag, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So when we're looking at the astrology, the moon is in your first house. That's really great. That brings a lot of attention to the way that your emotions work in general. So you're sort of emotionally center stage through Valentine's Day. And to add to that, it's a nice trine to Chiron and Jupiter in your 5th house. This is a moment where, you know how sometimes people can have like a emotional connection by cathartic communication or talking about personal things. And so when they talk about personal things, it leads them to be like, hey, you know, we really connect, we really see things the same way. So you might be in a situation like this. Okay, so this is a special deck that has 4 extra cards, and this is called the Palace of Wands, which is the fire domain of Sagittarius. So this is really nice. Like I said, the moon is in your 1st house. It's really rooted there. It's a very fiery energy, and 4 of Wands. So you've taken time to be in the home or in healthy environments. You've been around people or circumstances that are good for you without apology. This is a huge lesson that many people need to learn. This is a huge point of success when we are able to control our environment by choosing healthy environments and healthy people, like people who truly care about us. That's a part of the battle. So rather than, you know, running after the exciting bad boy who's going to break our heart, sitting down with someone who actually loves us, no matter what the relationship is sometimes that's where we're supposed to be. That's part of the healing process. And so we have this, which really makes me feel that way, that you've made certain choices, and just remembering your previous readings, you've made certain choices and found a healthy space. And so I think that this is the Leo card, it's strength, but I think that maybe you, and in some way, you know, feeling really healed and in your element, ready to reach out. Now, because it's Leo, and Leo is your 9th house, we do have Lilith up here. So this is a little caveat, and you guys do a self-check to make sure you're all right. You might be feeling very frisky right now and very like in your element, like hot. You might be feeling at your best. With Lilith there, just make sure you're not making careless decisions that take away from the good foundation you've built. So make sure that you're not putting yourself out in harmful situations or something that's exploiting your ego, that is kind of taking away from the health you've gained. We have the Page of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. You're going to get powerful information from people who are near you at this time. So people who are either physically close or people who are emotionally close to you. There's going to be some very cunning, very smart information that they will relay to you that you should pay attention to. And this information is to do with relationships. It's to do with Valentine's Day, but in a bigger scheme. So I don't think it's in and of itself like a relationship proposition or something like that. But I think that there's some wisdom that is being directed to you at this time that's showing you the way that you should go. There's some very, very smart words from someone who's very trusted. You are overall in a strong love energy at this time. Jupiter is in your 5th house. That's traditionally considered a very benefic transit for love. And with all of us, Chiron in Aries is tough. It's affecting our self-esteem. And because Jupiter is there at this time, we're getting that covering, that boost, the healing for our self-esteem. And so Jupiter, Chiron, and Juno in your 5th house, in some way, if you've been feeling bashful towards dating or relationships, you might be working your way through that now at an unprecedented rate. So you're doing really well. You'll feel better about yourself at this time. And I think you should draw on that energy. All these energies are very good for your self-esteem. The Mars in the 7th house could be a bit of like arguing with partners or people with whom you are partnered up with. If that's the case, just stay free and clear and protect your peace, and don't let your ego, run wild and embarrass you or put you in a bad environment or situation. Okay. So I sell, if I mention something that's like an advice or warning, I use astrology for warnings as well. So it's not to say that overall the energy is bad or you should be wary. It's just, this is what to watch out for to avoid problems during this type. It's like, bring an umbrella, it's going to rain. That's me. Maybe it's a beautiful day, but I'm like, there's a 40% chance of rain. So you might want to bring your umbrella, or, don't wear suede shoes or something like that. Okay. Okay. So next we have Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Okay. Hi, Pisces. Let's take a look at your sign. I think you went last time, so you're right in the middle this time. So for you, it's celebration. Venus is in Pisces next to Neptune. And, all that stuff about religion. I'm secular. I'm not religious, but I think that it is I think it's symbolic. And all these Abrahamic religions, which are arguably the biggest religions on the face of the world, I think like 2/3 of the world population believe in them, right? They arose during the beginning of the Pisces age. So I think that that's significant. All astrology is built around this, right? All modern astrology is built around this system. So it's significant for all of us, whether it's, Jesus 2.0 babies or just, whatever else. Okay, so we have Palace of Coins. So these are special cards in this deck. This is telling us that this is concerning itself with earth energy. We have the Page of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra in the upcoming energy. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. This is the first time this showed up. Jupiter in the second house. Get your lottery tickets. I don't know if I'm able to say that, so that's just a joke. but yeah, so lucky day for you. It looks like something lucky. And because it's in the second house, Chiron with Jupiter there, that could be very, very positive. And the fire palace there before. This is signifying that you're moving between two different environments at this time. And I'm getting this for your readings quite a lot, this kind of nuance. Let me see if I can... Hold on. I gotta fix... We're halfway through. My legs are going limp. Okay, hold on. Okay. So I think you're moving between two different energies. I think you've been in the fire energy for a while. And I like me a fiery Pisces. I think that that's a good look for you. I think it's a good energy. But here you're getting into the material phase, which is through elemental dignity, it's closely aligned to your energy. So it's much more natural for you to be in the earth energy. And I think you're getting there. I think you've had to be very motivational towards other people. I think you've had to be very charismatic. And I think that kind of performativity is very draining on you. And so you've reached the position to which you need to be at in order to relax and, sorry, look at this. Okay, they're coming to me, so that's good news. But you've reached this, so you've had to be charismatic and motivational and like a little firecracker. But now you're getting to a place that's much more stable where you don't have to perform. You know when they say, what is the word that they say? Like the man's view, I forget the word, the male gaze. So this isn't necessarily the male gaze, but you've been performing for the fire gaze, for the spirit gaze. And that's not your natural energy unless you have a lot of fire in your chart. And so now we're moving to a much more harmonious energy to your Piscean one, in which you're much more natural. So when they say male gaze, women's gaze, they're inferring that people are appealing to the authority of someone else, or the power or the privilege of someone else. And so that is the system under which they are. That's like the explanation of it, a brief one. And so you've been underneath this energy that's unlike yours, and now you're shifting towards an energy that's like much more grounded in Piscean energy. Is very lucky for you. There's going to be some kind of invitation or some kind of communication that's made. Let's take a look at the astrology. I was just looking at the tarot so far. Okay, some of you might get invitations. I'm looking at Mars to do with the home. And especially like maybe some of you roommates or some kind of housing arrangement that's positive. There's a shift here, which could be an energetic shift, an emotional shift, or it could be a shift, physical shift, where you're actually moving. Okay, not yet though. That move might happen in a couple years from now, depending on where your placements are. However, you might be seeing the beginning stages of some move. Now, the overall astrology is very resonant in your 12th house. So this is all happening, your perception of the outside world, but you're seeing the switch. You're seeing the change between the two energies. You've been in this fire energy for a while, and now you get to, it feels much more stable, like it feels like you don't have to hustle as much. It feels as though what you've earned has come to you, and now you can be more, not that you're disingenuous before, but you're being more, you don't have to perform for someone else. And so this energy is very helpful to you, and I think you're going places. This almost feels tangential, which means that like this is happening anyway, and then this is happening along the way. So it's kind of a pit stop energy. It feels like it's complementary, like it's a good experience, not a bad time. But I think overall the progress is your growth, and especially in the material domain, which is kind of confirmed by the fact that Jupiter and Chiron and Juno are together. So very strong for Pisces. You get to be in a better space than you were before. And I think that that's the point of the energy for you at this time. Okay, so congratulations. Okay, so let's do the next sign. Okay, so we have Gemini next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at your astrology, Gemini. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm tempting these little gems, these little balls. Okay, so let's see. All right, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at what's going on for your chart. So Saturn and the Sun are joining almost at the top of your chart. So if there is a perfect, watch the astrology explanation that I made, especially for the conjunction between Saturn and the Sun. But beyond that, there is, if you're under some type of system, whether it's a job, career, family structure, whatever, social system that you are under, there's clarification coming to you more than probably anybody else. And so there's a point of emancipation here, which really reminds me to your Capricorn energy through the pandemic, because I think that you've gone through significant upheavals, 2019 through 2020, and then now you get this conjunction with the Sun and Saturn. This happened last year as well, but this is actually closer to your MC, the uppermost point of your chart, and it won't happen again for 27 years. At that time, your life is going to be in a completely different place than it is now. So for our purposes, this is catharsis. This is emancipation from whatever you have been dealing with. Okay, so embrace that. I think this is probably the most significant transit for Valentine's Day for you at this time. We have the Page of Pentacles, and then we have the Six of Coins, the Four of Coins, sorry, Sun and Capricorn. You're being offered something that is a good offer. Six of Swords. So this is the transit of Mercury and Aquarius, and so we are seeing that also in the 9th house. Something is breaking, and then we have Chariot, which is the sign of Cancer. there's something that's opening the door for you. There's something that's being transformed or emancipated. You're being set free, and you've already dealt with the emotional aspect of what's going on at this time. But there's actual people who are helpful to you or of benefit to you. And especially in the material way, there's a material facilitation of getting to where you are going. So someone has money, someone's bringing you help. Look, we have Chiron joining Jupiter in Aries, or Jupiter joining Chiron and Juno in Aries. That's very significant, aspecting your 7th house, Gemini, with the moon. And so relationships are key through this Valentine's Day. Remember, when I say relationships, I mean the broad kind. It could be romance, it could be love, but it can be very deep friendship and solidarity as well between yourself and others. So there's someone who's facilitating your emancipation. There's someone who is facilitating your freedom away from the circumstances as they had been led up to from 2019 through 2020. So this looks very beautiful for you, Gemini. Okay, so I'm excited for you. Congratulations. Let's see the next sign. We have Cancer. Hey, Cancer. Welcome to the party. Bye-bye, Pluto party. Farewell, Pluto. It's your graduation. Let's see what's going on for you in this Valentine's Day. Next year, Pluto's not going to be in your 7th house. This is the last Valentine's Day in which Pluto is in your 7th house, Cancer. You guys should be through the roof. I hope that it's actually bringing you something good. It is in the anaretic degree of 29th degree, so many people with Cancer placements are getting like a big pat on the back from the current situation, so that's very exciting. Overall, we have, I'm so sorry, Mars in Gemini, and Mars is in Gemini in the 12th house, 9 of Swords. I think you're maybe afraid of like what could happen. And I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with you. I have Venus in Cancer, so I'm not, it's a nervous laugh. It's like the fear of the potential of evil. You know, when bad things happen, you get kind of on the edge of your seat a lot. And it's like, what else will happen? I guess that's what I'm referring to. That's the mentality. Jupiter in Pisces, nine of Cups. Very lucky. Something's changing. And we have 9 of the Palace of Coins in the... I love these cards in this deck, and I wish more decks featured this energy. It basically is like a very like systemic, this is the environment of this place. Listen, you're worried something's going to go off because arguably things have gone off in the past. So you're a little bit spooked. That's what I'll say. But it looks very good. It looks like something's leading the way in a good direction. 2 of Pentacles is smart progress forward, things changing. It's ruled by Jupiter in Capricorn. So this could be referring to 2019. When was Jupiter in Capricorn? 2020. 2020, I think, 2020. So progress and good things, change, unexpected change, unexpected transformation. All of these energies are here. Let's take a look at your astrology a bit more for Valentine's Day. So we have this beautiful transit at the top of your chart, Venus and Neptune together. So this is an emancipatory moment. This is the moment in which your heart's desire becomes manifest. This is the time in which you are proven right. Your vision through your heart is proven right, and you see the implication. You've been proven right. So you've been saying it all along. This is how it is. This is what I see. This is what I love. And you're being proven by it. So that's confirmation of the heart, I think, for you. And then also, this is really healthy and helpful. This is more to do with like where you stand with other people in your relationships with them. Chiron in Aries is also not in the 10th house, is also not an easy transit to have. It represents that in some way people have been challenging you in terms of your self-esteem, in terms of who you are. And with Jupiter there and with Juno, there's an emancipation as well, which means that in your career, in your public life, people give you a hard time a lot. They really do. And with Chiron there for such a long time, several years, that's been really coming to the surface, the lack of respect, the lack of consideration, those kinds of things. And with Jupiter coming into this position and then the moon here for Valentine's Day in the 6th house, it's like certain things are working against the lack of respect or the lack of consideration. And so some event may come up that will actually give you consideration, that will actually show you, care and nurture. So this is exciting. I think I get, this is more of an intuitive take, but I feel like you're tired. I feel like you've been, poked one too many times. And I just think that you're tired essentially from this nasty behavior from others. So this is really nice because I think that it's actually giving you like a fresh kind of take, or maybe gives you a little bit of energy. And then of course in Aquarius, the conjunction between Saturn and Sun, if you're dealing with a situation in which there's a lack of clarity on things. So sometimes the problem is that we're not given all the information, so we're left wondering, and especially to do with endings, transformation, when we're being gate-kept from the truth. And so the Sun with Saturn here is beautiful for you. Watch the astrology intro because I talk about it in more detail, but in your 8th house, that's really beautiful because it's giving you clarity. Why did they not call you back? Why did they ghost you? Why did they react that way? Why did that situation end? You're going to hopefully get some type of clarification. And remember, one of the main themes of today's reading is everything's not explicit. Not everything is like, boom, here it is. Some of it starts as a whisper and then turns into a roar later. And so allow things to be the way they are and allow things to progress. Mercury in the 8th house. So things are being said even if you are not aware of them. Things are working in your favor, and be patient. It's a very interesting time for Cancer. So let me know how things are going for you guys, okay? Okay, so we have Libra next. I'm really getting into this reading now. A little Pisces. Whenever Pisces comes up, my intuition goes through the roof. Hi, Libra. Let's see your energy. Libra. Okay. Sun, Moon, and Rising. So let's see. What I think is probably most significant for you is Venus and Neptune at the end of the 6th house. This could be a real romantic chance encounter. You may have had one last year as well, where around the springtime, about, what was it, April 30th, April 29th, you may have met someone spontaneously, so that may have been positive. Or this might be a reprise of that energy, so somebody could be coming in, and especially with Jupiter in your 7th house, this is typically very good for love and romance. So don't be opposed to it. Don't be against, against Jupiter bringing you love and luck. Ace of Pentacles. Something changed in your life from the material sense. Money started coming in a way that it wasn't before. We have 2 aces, so it may have actually changed where you live or how your life functions, which is great. This is suggesting that you've also been very frugal. I see the South Node in Scorpio. Has there been a lack of frugality in the past? Have you been spending money in ways you shouldn't before? I have a feeling that the transit of Scorpio South Node in your 2nd house has taught you some lessons about being financially conservative. And so you're really right there in terms of your energy, not spending money or investing the money that you get, being very wise. And this feels very strong. There's a very positive change here between the 2 aces on a material world. And we have the Palace of Coins, which means to me that you are progressing towards something more stable, financially more stable, something grounded, and something productive. So this is really quite exciting. We have the conjunction. It's a loosened conjunction by sign of Uranus and the North Node in the 8th house. This is speaking for you right now. You're probably branching out financially with people. And I know this is a Valentine's Day reading, but I think that this to me is speaking of money. You're entertaining relationships with different people that in which you will share and multiply your money through. I think that there's some real financial opportunities for you ahead that you may really stand to benefit from. There could also be a very initiation of some type of romantic interaction. Saturn with the Sun in the 5th house could suggest that you are finding to realize that someone you've known for a while has more significant feelings for you. So that's okay. So there's like potential for romance, but it's only in the beginning stages. Your self-esteem about relationships is getting a boost. So that's good. But the whole foundation of your strength is about money getting better. And that's exciting. So Libra is looking strong through this. A lot of the air signs, I get two in my own head. Sorry. A lot of the air signs are going to really see a shift right now in terms of readings across the board, not just me. The energy is fundamentally shifting, and I would say almost in their favor. I don't want to kind of, discriminate against anyone or say this is better than that. But air signs are getting very strong influences of positive energy. So embrace that, Libra. Okay, so Scorpio next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at your energy, Scorpio. So for you, I can encourage you more to branch out and interact with diversity of people. I really think that the energy was strongest last year, but it's still relevant until about July. This is a once-in-a-lifetime transit because Uranus and the North Node in your 7th house. This is such a breakthrough moment for you to do things in a different way and for it to actually change your life in a meaningful way, to make it much more interesting. So wherever you can, branch out and embrace, different ways of doing. Sun in Virgo, 8 of Pentacles. Again, very work-oriented sort of message. We have a lot of emphasis in your 6th house, and we have Lilith in your 10th house. So that we'll talk about that. Remember with the Mercury, I was saying that Mercury is at the perigee, which is the closest point, the point opposite Lilith, because it's the apogee. So we have the closest, you're getting at the truth of something. So for Scorpios, Pluto is transiting through the IC this year. This is significant. And so Mercury here, an emergence of some type of truth. It really feels like, I'll say it in Polish, a zagadka, like some kind of riddle in your life that is being solved. And it's not necessarily like explicit. It's something full of nuance. And there's just something about your life that you're coming into realization about. We have Palace of Swords. This is the energy of air. In the energy, air energy, we have the Empress. Okay, this is the mother energy. Let's see. Okay, we have the 3 of Wands. Well, I think for all of you who are working with your mind, this is very strong energy. You're coming into things, realization of things with reason, intellect, wisdom. There's an approval from matriarchal energies around you, whoever the matriarch is, the Empress energy. There's like you've locked in on something that's really important. This isn't necessarily for love, but with Jupiter and Chiron and Juno right there, it almost feels like how things that have hurt you emotionally, have kept you back in the past, you have found a solution to those opposing energies, the Chiron and Aries. And the Jupiter is applying Chiron, and it's providing some kind of, it's providing what you need in your environment to be able to bring into fruition the idea or whatever it is you have been working on. So there's this application of skill and knowledge. I feel like your mother or your wife or a maternal figure, sister, has always seen this about you. And now you are really coming into your own. There's like a real strength here of personal fortitude, and especially vis-a-vis things that have held you back. The chaos of other people's opinions, the how you've internalized other people's criticisms of you and how that has held you back. Stuff like that. It could be a variety of things. But I feel like those things are not necessarily like you've been waiting for a long time for this to happen, and this is a sweet spot of your self-awareness. And this is also connected to IC energy, which is our child energy, because childhood conditioning sets us up for life, right? So if you've had particularly harsh upbringing, especially early on in life, questioning your intellect and you haven't been working to your potential, here is a beginning of things. Take that very seriously at this time. There's an initiation of, growth. There's an initiation of progress. And it's again subversive, which means that it's not necessarily, it could be quite implicit and not explicitly stated. Mercury, opposite Lilith. The outside world still feels hostile, but it feels like you found something to nurture and something to bring about. So Scorpio, apply yourself. I think to look to your mother or maternal figure, because I think that they've seen it all along, or they're there with you through the outcomes. So whoever that maybe it's an aspect of yourself producing something, making something beautiful, bringing it into reality, right? Okay. That's beautiful. I really like this reading. So thumbs up. The Scorpio reading. It hit a sweet spot for me. Okay. So, we have Capricorn. I don't know how many signs I have left. We have left. Oh, there's 3. Okay. 4 seemed like a lot, but 3 seems like not enough. Like I want to keep going. Okay, so maybe we'll do a pick a card at the end again, because you guys liked that the last time. Okay, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I have so much fun with you. This is good. Okay, so Capricorn, we have the Palace of Coins. And we have the Page of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits in Earth. And then we have the Palace of Wands. A lot of people are getting these Palace cards, and I'm here for it. It just means that maybe what seems like a very, and this is so true for Capricorn, Chariot on the in the other side. Okay, so what seems as though it's a physical, tangible existence, money, cigars, cars, I don't know. There's a more spiritual undercurrent to everything that's happening for you. And one thing for Capricorns that I've noticed time and again is that you really desire the nurturing of spirit and emotions, relationships with others, all that sort of thing. And so I feel like you go through life and you've mastered the world financially, physically, whatever. You have it all figured out. But I think that there's this real yearning here for connection of spirit with others. And unfortunately for Capricorns, you come off so strong, and I mean that in a positive way, that people give you a hard time. So you're trying to make a connection, but people get in their jealousy or insecurities and they give you a hard time. And so you come to people saying, hey, let's have that spirited connection. And people say, I'm better than you. They start doing that. And you're not trying to do that at all, but that's because you have the personal prowess, the strength that other people they aspire to, And so it's intimidating for people, right? Your strength is intimidating. And so the Palace of Wands and the Page of Wands together here, it really feels like there's an initiation of something new. And this is really speaking to Chiron and Jupiter and Juno. And this is aspecting to the moon on Valentine's Day in the 12th house. This person always looks sneaky to me. And I know, I mean, there's fire signs that are not sneaky. We know this. But this person looks like they're up to no good. So I just have to say it. But this is the card. And whenever, so it could be the card, but if you know, you know, and if it's for you, it's for you. Okay. So we have Palace of Wands and Page of Wands. That need for that spiritual connection is flowing out of you. And I think that Jupiter with Chiron and Juno right there in your 4th house is easing other people's insecurities towards you. So you may be able to get them to open up more with you than they would otherwise. So there's a more willingness to be in agreement or work with you in some way. The energy that's that you're leaving behind is you've come to terms with certain things. And I think that speaks a lot to the South Node in your 11th house and also the moon in the 12th house. Your relationships with, you've come to terms with the fact, I think it's been very hurtful why some people are just not friends with you. It's because you're strong. And with Pluto there in your, 1st house, that's such a huge paradigm shift that it's such an important thing to talk about. And so with Pluto there in your 1st house, just know that it's you because you're strong, but it's their inability to, it's their insecurities that are driving any disharmony that you're experiencing with people around you. And yes, they like you, but they can't get over themselves. That's what I was trying to say. So there's really a strong indication here in the 2nd house that something financially is a breakthrough for you around Valentine's Day. And it may, again, start off as a whimper and then end up being something really huge. So pay attention to that. And I think at this time, I'm getting the feeling, and now I'm looking at Lilith over here in the 8th house. I have a feeling that you should stay away from collaborative pursuits of a financial nature with others at this time, just for the time being. And if you're being propositioned to say, hey, sign up for this timeshare or share money, put money in, I would be very hesitant at this time. And I think it might be like your desire for spirit that's driving you to be in agreement, but I think that would be a misstep. So just go slow if that's the situation with that. Okay? So no sharing money right now, Capricorn. And do seek those spiritual connections with people. Do seek, but also don't allow your need for spiritual connection. Don't open the door to manipulation, okay? So next we have Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look. Hi, Aries. So I have to say to Aries, you're going through a spectacular set of transits. So I'll focus on this much more, but just suffice it to say, these transits are really good. And it really starts with this Jupiter and Chiron conjunction with Juno. Such a healing transit. It's like, if you don't feel good about yourself, and you may not because Chiron's been in your 1st house for a while, like self-esteem, then Jupiter is going to bring something into your life that is going to produce for you a healing opportunity. We have the 10 of coins, the 9 of coins, Venus in Virgo. So this is the first time that's shown up. I mean, money is going to be, this is going to be the pinnacle of, or the cathartic moment of your recent progress financially. Either you will reach new heights or you will cash in. There's going to be financial positives coming for the rest of the year. A little bit here, a little bit there, but it's coming. Queen of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. And then we have the 5 of Swords in the bottom. guard your money, protect yourself. The death card. This really kind of looks like divorce, and this is in the past. So dealing with a divorce and protecting, but getting money out of the divorce. I know this isn't everyone, but it's a specific message. This could mean that, you know, holding your own ground in a financial way, gaining monetary strength. And this is like, there's a particular area of your life that these cards together, they seem very like how do I say this? Dystopic. They seem like they're, if you've ever read Cormac McCarthy, think of like The Road or like Mad Max, like in the darkness, like there's an aspect of your reality. I don't mean to be like apocalyptic in my reading or anything of this, but it just feels like there's an energy that is a part of your life that has been really messed up. It could be your ex-partner, because we mentioned divorce. It could be like a bad job that you left behind. The takeaway is money. You have money to gain, but there's a fair bit of, you've had to go through, I can see you've had to go through a lot of BS to get there. So we see this. They're working through a lot. It's almost like you've had to put in a lot of effort, and you've had to put up a lot with a lot of things to be able to get to where you are. And it was sort of like a necessary decision. So I guess we'll talk about that more. This is a very strong message that came up. This is Valentine's Day. In terms of I think new friends are emerging. So we have Mercury in Aquarius at the perigee of the moon. And we have the conjunction with Saturn and Venus. If there's any misunderstanding with Saturn and the Sun, if there's any misunderstanding in your social circles, or if you've had like a bad reputation because of something that was said that was not true, this Sun, Saturn, last one in 27 years is going to clarify that for you, Aries. So that's going to be nice. So let's say that like you never said something about someone and someone attributed something negative that was said to you. And because of that, people were upset with you. This is going to come out. The truth is going to come out. And so actually there's a lot of truth being brought into situations. There's a lot of good behind the scenes. There's a lot of, it feels like you've been on your own for a while. And I feel like it's been a hostile environment at times. And yet there's some redemption there. And if there's things that have gone against you that haven't been nice, those things will get corrected, but in a nice way. Not like no more fighting, no more arguing, no more bad stuff. I would say, once again, tell you, focus on the money. And I've been telling you this for years. The other stuff is going to work out. And it starts as a quiet thing and then, you know, becomes more aware or apparent. Okay. So there's going to be an emergence of like a more fortunate energy as the truth comes out, or as there's things that are clarified. But for now, there's like a real darkness, peripheral darkness. You're not in it, but it's just, there's definitely you've had to put up with some unfair or nasty things. Okay. So hold on to your money, enjoy your money for what you've earned. Focus on the money and don't worry about your social circumstances at this time. They're going to get really better, and you're still living with the consequences of what you needed to do to get the money or get the status or get whatever it is you got. And the misconceptions are going to get clarified. Okay, interesting. There's a lot of really positive changes for Aries. So this is feeling like a cleaning house event for you. So hopefully that will lead to good things for you. I wish you luck. Okay, last but not least is Virgo. If you guys don't know, hi, I'm a Virgo. So I suspect that maybe Virgo comes up last because of that. So I like going last because I can do everybody else's sign and then focus on mine. I'm a Scorpio, Virgo, Aquarius, if anybody's wondering. If anybody new is watching, hi. Say hi. Say hi in the comments so you see me again. Sun, moon, and rising. Let's see your cards. So Three of Wands, waiting for something. Waiting for something. Ace of Cups, you're the only one who got it, Virgo. Valentine's Day. There you go. You do have Venus-Neptune conjunction in the 7th house. This isn't the last one, but it's getting up there. 5 of Pentacles. It's been a struggle, Virgo. Not everything has been perfect. And 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, I looked at the bottom, so I'll recognize it. This isn't favoritism. It really feels, somebody else got this message. I think it was Sag. Be careful of people gassing you up, which means like encouraging you to go against something that's better for you. But something good is coming in, and there's an emergence of new relationships, new hope, or new possibilities. The 5 of Pentacles is feeling like very rough. It feels like you've gone through a period of time in which there was not enough of something, or physically not enough of something. I think that there's also been a very prudent time, and I'm sorry to use such a cliche term for you, but like either you've like been extremely stingy to make it through, you've really minimized your whole experience to make it, and on top of that, it has been a difficult time financially. So that's going to resolve itself. But it's been a period of time in which the physical aspect of things has been in some way an afflicted energy. And I think it's like maybe things in the world that are happening. However, and you've been waiting for something to come through. You've been waiting for something to emerge. And I think it's coming. I don't think there's a question of things improving, but so they're definitely improving on a financial level. The thing that I'm just seeing is that it's been difficult physically for a while. And not only were you trying to be careful physically, you were careful physically, but on top of that, it was even harder. Maybe inflation, right? It's very hard for people at this time. So this is just telling me that like your mindset, that you've been under a lot of pressure on the physical level. It is what it is. Good times come and go financially, all aspects of things. So you've been gritting and bearing it. Okay. So we have 3 of Wands just waiting the solution to come in. And then there's this Ace of Cups, the emergence. But what is this? This does not have very much around it. So by mistake, I looked at the bottom and I saw the 8 of Wands. This suggests that there is like kind words, but in circumstances like this, I'm like, what are kind words for? I'm very hesitant towards like gaslighting or being like gassed up to believe certain things. You know, the good old pat on the back to make you feel better. I think that those things can be very damaging to people. So I'm side-eyeing this. Like, this is like, who's saying what to whom, Virgo? Like, it is what it is, and you're going to get through it. But also at the same time, don't believe false niceties, right? False niceties are toxic. Okay, so here is more context in terms of the astrology. It feels as though your financial relationships with others has been under strain for a while. So we have Chiron in your 8th house for a while now. And this part of the transit has Jupiter transiting alongside of it. So this isn't something that happens. This is the only time this is going to happen. And so enjoy it. Enjoy the conjunction. It's in some way going to help. It feels like it feels like there's a physical drain or a physical pressure on you, Virgo, that's physically difficult from the outside in. Either your partner's not pulling their weight, or there's some other external financial thing that you're attached to that's financially or physically difficult. And so Jupiter here is going to fix that or give a big boost to help you on the material level. So that's really nice for the Valentine's Day. And so I don't think it's a question of a lack of sympathy or a lack of care or nurture. I just think that on a material level, things are being tested right now. And I think that that's Chiron. I think that the financial pressure is Chiron. Overall, I think that there's new paths and listen, what we do through the hard times paves the way to our successful future. This is the phase that you're in, Virgo. This is like the get down to business and do your work. And this will lead to very wonderful outcomes for you moving forward. This feels very serious, actually, overall, like in temperament or the things that are going on for you. There's visions of what you want to create in the world, but you're also limited on a financial or physical level. So you just need to do the best you can with what you were given. And I think there's a big also message of do not get distracted by comforting words or kind gestures or flirtatious love that isn't going to lead to something, if it's not going to lead to something, and distract you from the matter at hand. Because it's so easy to like blow things off and embrace romance. But I think that in this situation, this is saying like, yeah, there could be some flirtatious stuff there, but you might have to like apply yourself to like the real things, because those flirtatious things aren't things in and of themselves yet. So keep things organized well, Virgo. I know you're good at that. And things are coming in for you. It's just don't squander it. You're in a very specific position. And so don't be wasteful or don't be like distracted by love, by fake love. Or I don't think it's insincere. I just think it's maybe not the seriousness of the situation or what's required from you is not space for wasting time or being distracted by romance that isn't going to lead somewhere necessarily. Okay? So just ask yourself if that's the case. If that's the case, then enjoy yourself with the love that you have. But I think that the serious thing you have to confront or deal with, do that, and then you'll be very happy at the end of it. I think like I said, like grit down and bear it. So the outcome comes in the way that you want it. Okay. And later on, you'll be happy that you did. All right. So last time I did the Brow Tele as a bonus pick a card. And these are just 3 little messages from the Brow Tele. Oh, we got 3 cards that flew out. Let's see if you guys want to do that. They just flew out, so let's honor it. So just 1, 2, 3, and it'll be just a little bonus for Valentine's Day. And I know this is like I get serious. It's cloudy overhead, but I'm always telling you genuinely what I see. So I hope it helps you. And yeah, I hope that you're having a nice Valentine's Day, and I hope it's leading to good things. Okay, so if you chose 1, let's see what your energy is. So we have Glory and Victory, number 37. I really like this card. It really suggesting that, hold on, that you have really overcome something, that you have found your moment in the sun, that you have found your place in the world and where you needed to be at this time. This is for Valentine's Day. It feels as though you have persevered in in an interaction with someone else. You have asserted, it really feels as though there's been an implicit push and pull between you and someone else about the way things are. And you knew in your heart that something was the way that you saw it. And you couldn't argue your way to it to be true, but it's proven, your viewpoint has been proven over time. So it's like you've seen the truth in a situation, and now time has proven you true. And so you are victorious, and your intention or your intuition was accurate. Okay, so you have that feeling of contentment because what you saw was true. Number 2, we have the ending, number 58. So this is some kind of big transformation moment. For you, this could mean that there is an end to some kind of situation that has been holding you back. This is an end to a situation that has been making you feel unwell about yourself, and you have been gaining a lot of personal power, a personal prominence. And this is the time for you to move ahead. Several of the signs, and I bet you're one of them, people who chose number 2 are, that there is a strong push towards material growth in a particular direction that they deem to be necessary. So this is your time. There's a cessation of the negative effect on you at this time, and you're moving towards financial independence or financial strength if you chose to. And number 3, we have something new, number 92. Something new is emerging. Also, many signs got an ace in the outcome position, or several aces even. So there's new things emerging. I would recommend that you watch the beginning part of Mercury in Aquarius when I was talking about that, because that was talking about how this energy may be subtle and not apparent yet, but whatever it's saying now is going to grow and increase. Something new is increasing. Your things in your life have reached their end, and now you have new positive beginnings. This isn't anything negative. This is like things have gone stale and started becoming not functional or not healthy and not helpful or not giving to you. And so there's some really bright new beginnings in new directions for you. So whether you chose 1, 2, or 3, it's all nice energy. Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. I'll be back with more soon. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.